I remember one time, like, I think we were at church and some older guys were like playing around with us, and one of them was just like play fighting with my brother. He was holding a chair above his head, but I thought it was real, and I was like a little kid, so I ran to him and I was like, "Stop, you stupid!" And I just like flipped out on him. If there's a black sheep in every family, I'm definitely that guy. I come from a family of Korean Baptist preachers. My grandfather's a pastor, my dad's a pastor, my aunt, my brother's a pastor, and I was actually teaching at a church for a little bit, for like a good year. So for me to be teaching martial arts is kind of like not really in the family line in a sense, but when my mom opened her store in DC, there was a martial art taekwondo school there. They were called Capital. It's not there anymore. They closed down a long time ago. Just one block down. So like, you want to do martial art? You want to do taekwondo? I was like, well, of course. I've kind of been doing it for all my childhood. At this point, I was in middle school, 6th grade. I still remember because it's around the same time I started playing violin too. Playing violin and doing martial arts. So my family's supportive of anything. They're not the type of parents who like push you, like, listen, I want you to do this. Like, not so much. They made me make my own decisions, but it's not. The thought never occurred to me like this is something I could sign up for, because we've grown up. We never did anything like that, When I was a kid, what extracurricular stuff did we do? Everything was church-based. My dad's a pastor. My mom plays piano. When we started doing music, she taught us. So the thought of other people can teach you, and you pay them, that was a concept that never occurred to me. Senior year of high school is when I started doing the tricking stuff, the acrobatics, the flipping. Because my friend Dennis, and he did a 540, but nobody knew what a 540 was back then, so they called it the Dennis kick. Like, yo, you gotta watch it. It's like he kicks and spins like 5 times. You barely spin once in actuality, but we didn't know. So he did. I'm like, holy crap, that's like crazy. I don't understand how you're doing that. I never learned that. So we got into it. I remember watching videos online, and we had no teachers or guidance in this. We just fell and busted our ankles and knees and a lot of unnecessary injuries. But he was training at a school nearby called King Tiger, and he knew that my brother and I did taekwondo growing up. So he would ask us all these questions. My brother would draw pictures and diagrams for him to look at. That got us kind of interested again. So like, all right, well, King Tiger is literally like 5 minutes from our house. So we went there for like half a year as students. We trained there. We just really wanted a place to try to jump around and land these moves and stuff. So my best friend at the time, his name was Sung. His sister was friends with this guy named Jeremy. And Jeremy is an instructor at the school's not there anymore. It's called Bethesda Martial Arts. And he told her, like, hey, we need some part-time instructors. And then, so she told him that. He told me that. And it's like, hey, you used to do martial arts. I used to do martial arts. Why not? Let's go. So that was the first time I was teaching martial arts as a part-time instructor. It wasn't exactly the same style. It was definitely more American, Joon curriculum. Some people consider it ITF style. So we learned their curriculum, taught that, but they broke it down differently, because when I learned, both of my masters at the time were both Korean men from Korea, so they can only say so much, but I'm American born. I don't speak Korean that well. So when I started teaching, these are all American people. They spoke in a very like technical way. Korean instructors, people think, oh, learn from a Korean. Learning from American guys, learn about body mechanics, physics, a little bit more like sports science kind of style. So that was a big change, and that kind of contributed a lot to the way I started thinking about, teaching. My major in college was psychology. Mostly because high school I did AP Psych, I did very well. It made sense, and I found it to be relevant because, that I was bad at everything else. Ooh, don't believe the stereotypes. I was not good at math. Definitely the worst was chemistry. Bad times. So psychology and other social sciences appealed to me more. I thought it was relevant. It's like, well, one thing I'm always gonna be dealing with for the rest of my life is gonna be people. You know, there's a lot of meaning in having relationships with people. So I'm like, well, if I want to help people, I can be a therapist or a counselor. It's like, it's better than me working in an office. I remember trying that for like, I think 2 weeks. I was like getting depressed by the end of 2 weeks. Like, I saw the phone, I saw the paper, I was just like, I can't do this. I can drop a lot of money, go to school do a master's, do a whatever, and then I can help a few people who are more seriously, I guess, mentally ill, but who also have the insurance or finances to afford a therapist. If you look at like the grand scheme of things, that's not a big margin of people. The target audience is a very small target. Or I'm already teaching like hundreds of kids and influencing their decisions, the choices they make for the future. And I know I'm going to be one of those guys when they're an adult, like, yeah, man, when I was a kid, this one instructor said blah, 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 and that helped me. It's like, okay, I can either do this long, very exclusive path, or I can keep doing what I'm doing now and essentially influencing a whole generation. So it's like, okay, that's a lot more appealing. That and it's something I do enjoy. Like, if I was a therapist, I would be sitting in an office pretty much every day. But this is, I get to move, I get to hit stuff. I don't know, you know, I get to show people things and not just teach them. Everyone comes for different reasons. You help people. I've helped people with, you know, weight loss, strength training. People who they feel unsure of themselves, this confidence. Some people feel like, I can't protect myself. They want self-defense. Some people want to achieve sense of accomplishment. You know, they go the competition route. So all these different people, you get to help them in their different paths, but just doing one thing. So in college, I kind of came to that epiphany. And you know, it's like, I didn't have to change anything because, like, well, I'm a psych major. I mean, yeah, you deal with abnormal psych, you deal with more like out there kind of stuff, but you deal with a lot of subtle things too. Psychology of learning, adolescent psychology, child psychology, psychology of aggression and violence. All those things became relevant now, but in a more real, like here and now kind of setting. So in that sense, my psych degree right there became relevant, and definitely played a role in the way that. And it's like, oh, I'm a psych major. Parents like, oh wow, oh, I can trust this guy. So yeah, I mean, that all happened in college. That was all college. Excuse me. If I could go to the past and talk to myself, I think that would be the biggest thing I would change. In terms of opening the school, when I opened the school, I had zero business experience. Not only did I not have business experience, I actually don't like business. I'm used to it now. I mean, don't get me wrong, but back then, because, you know, I would teach my friends, you know, for free, just because they're my friends. Like, yeah, when you kick, try doing this, help them out. But now as a profession, it's like, listen, your time has value now. As a monetary value. Your experience and your knowledge has a monetary value because you have something that people don't have. Other than something like a service or other than like a retail, like unless I'm selling merchandise, that's kind of how business is conducted though. You pay for someone's professional experience and their knowledge and expertise. And to me, that was a foreign concept. Like, I mean, when I first opened it, some lonely days. It was good and bad because, like, man, I made a lot of debt, you know, not having a student base. That's another thing. That's so businessy that I don't think we need to talk about that. I had no student base when I came up here. I just opened the school. I was like, here I am. Now what? Not knowing that this particular community, everything's kind of hidden and tucked away. We don't have any walk-by traffic. You know, there's not that many people going to, you know, the bird store next door. You know, next to us was a hair salon. There's only, you know, hair salons everywhere. There was one here. There's one right not even down the street, in the next building too. So, you know, I didn't know how to get myself out there. people say staying open for 3 years, like most businesses will close by then, majority. So in that sense, they say, wow, Sam, you know, you might not be making a lot of money, but that's a huge accomplishment. You open a business with no experience and you stayed open for 3 years now. To me, you know, like, to me, it never feels like it's enough. But I'm not, I wouldn't label myself as a successful person, but you know, other people would say that. But if you listen to other people, I'm talking like people who struggle and they are successful by our society standards, they all say very similar things, and it's always to do something with perseverance and usually quitting. Is there a time to quit? Sometimes yes, there are times to quit when what you're doing is not producing, not that it's not producing the result that you want, but you can't even visualize a path to it. I don't really tell people this, but I've thought of closing the school down many times over the past, not so much recently, at least the first 2 years, maybe 2.5 years. The thought of closing the school down, I've had plan Bs, I've had plan Cs. You know, I talked to different people, what do they do? It's like, man, I really could do that. I might struggle for a while. Oh, what if I filed for bankruptcy? What if I did this or that? All these options, you know. But I never went through with quitting. And I always stuck to it. In that sense, you know, it's not like I attempted to open many schools several times, but I've attempted to come here every day for the past 3 years. And you know, you have, in that sense, every day is another chance. Oh, I went through the whole thing without mentioning my crazy ex, who was kind of a role in this, but I don't like her, so I don't want to bring her. Don't put this in the, you might put this in the blooper.
Maybe not. Nobody will know.
No names.